Alright everybody, hello and welcome back. As always, I am Sean. This is In The Mixer and it has been 6 months I think since our last video, which is crazy. If we're going to do it though, we're going to come back in the right way, which means we have to get the colours on, we have to get them going for this return episode. Now for the people that have been watching the series all the way from the start, or people that have found the channel recently, I can only apologise because the last episode, episode 33, went up back in March. We're now towards the very end of August and potentially in September by the time this video goes live. And it was never my intention to take that long a break, but had a couple of things change in real life. I got promoted at work. I was lucky enough to get engaged this year. But the big one that's taken the majority of my time was I actually spent this season coaching football in the real world as well. That was never my intention in 2019. I was going to take a year off. Some of you may remember I went over to the UK and Europe at the start of this year and was fortunate enough to see #United play. Then when I came back, there was a team at my club that was looking for a manager. I said I'd jump in and do it, and then one thing led to another and that ended up with me playing again. And then by the time you're spending 2 or 3 days at training a week, plus your games on a weekend, plus whatever other life activities you're trying to get on, I just kind of ran out of time, which isn't the greatest excuse in the world. And I know there's a ton of different Football Manager content out there at the moment that people can be watching, so hopefully that's helped fill the void. But I can only apologise for the delay between videos. And as we are ramping up now towards the release of FM20, I desperately wanted to get back to this save to try and give it some sort of conclusion so that we can run through the gamut of it. I have missed it a tremendous amount. Not playing it each week has been harrowing, but we still have a ton of time. There's a ton of content that we can get through. But more than anything, I just apologise to the people that have been waiting this long for another episode. I will make it up to you. And of course, thanks to everyone who's continued to support the channel, even with infrequent content, I should say. But that's a good slip of the tongue because we should read some of the comments that people have placed over the last couple of months. Deck1778, 6 months ago, said recently found it, loving the series, been watched the entire thing. And then he just asked where the latest episode is. It's here today, 6 months down the track, so hopefully he'll jump back in and check it out again. Stanvo, 5 months ago, just found the channel a week ago, binge watched the whole thing. Lil Drunky, 3 months ago, in the mixer, still waiting, so still waiting for a new episode. Apologies, Lil Drunky, it's here today, and you're getting a shout out, so hopefully that makes up for it. Ralph Roll, missed the videos, big man, I miss you too, Ralph. Here's another one just for you. Luke Howard, change your skin, you can't see hardly anything. Good series though, deserves more subs. Thank you very much for the feedback, but I'm going to keep it light. It's just easier for me to read. Black text on a white background. I don't know why that is. I'm a little bit colorblind though with red and green. Maybe that contributes to it, but this is the skin that I've found the easiest one. But maybe for next year or for future series, we might try and do like individual cultivated skins for each different series. So when FM20 comes out and we do like our beta saves and then our regular season saves, we might have specific skins for those particular save types. So it's good feedback. I do appreciate it. And then Olamide Odiebi, love this vid only 1 day ago. Glad you've enjoyed it, mate. By the time you get through to episode 34, you'll finally get that shout out for that comment. But again, thank you to everyone who's provided feedback, positive or negative. I do really appreciate it. I do read all the comments. I do try and respond to them as much as possible. And thanks, of course, to everyone who either follows me on Twitter or has been supporting other content that way. I do really appreciate it. But what we want to do is get back into our #United save. For those of you who need to get caught up, and let's be honest, sometimes I need to get caught up a little bit as well. We are into season 4 of the save, 3 back-to-back promotions and league titles during that time. We're 10 games in to the Evo Sticks Southern Premier Central season. We're currently sitting top of the league. We do have a game in hand on Rushden and Diamonds, who are in second on 24 points. And if we win, I think, what 2 games are we going to do today? If we win the 2 games in this episode, or if we win the game against Banbury United in this episode, we can potentially go 4 points clear at the top of the table. So what I'm thinking is, because we've lost a bit of time and I want to try and get up the divisions as quickly as possible, depending on how the results go in this episode, we might actually, in episode 35, do like a fast forward and jump ahead a couple of months in our season schedule so that we can kind of progress the series a little bit further. If things are going well and we're kind of smacking through the league, which we have done up until this point, we will jump ahead until later in the season, come back, do the last couple of games, do a bit of a season review, and then hopefully jump straight up into the next division above, which is the Bostik League Premier Division. One, because it helps us catch up a bit of time that way. And then also, we're only like a hop, skip, and a jump away from league football. So I do want to try and accelerate the series a little bit, make the most of the last 2 months before FM20 comes out, give this season a good conclusion, and hopefully get as far up the divisions as we possibly can. So expect that in the next episode 35, to be a bit of a fast forward. We'll see how we're going for this season as to how far we jump ahead in time, but I would really like to try and get us up that league pyramid as quickly as possible. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's focus on the 2 games today, which, as mentioned, is going to be the FA Trophy game against Bamber Bridge, and then once that game's completed, the league game against Bambury United. So let's jump ahead and have a look at the team that we're going to name today. Right, so back in our 4-2-3-1 shape, which has served us so well. I think if we do get promoted this season, we'll probably look at trying out a couple of different shapes as we get up the league pyramid. One, because, we're not going to have the same dominance of possession. Our players are slowly, like if we look at our squad ratings here, our players are slowly starting to drop off in time, and actually jumping up the divisions is getting the better of them, like Theo Baker, Daniel Adji, Jamel Akeem. Like, a lot of these players are they're a bit probably beneath their limit in terms of what level they can actually play at. And a lot of them are actually getting older as well. Like, if we sort by age here, Andy Cade Watts is 36. He's actually retired now and is the goalkeeping coach in real life. He's already a part-time goalkeeping coach at the club. It remains to be seen if he'll continue on next season. Aaron Couch, 33. Ryan Adams, 33. Ricky Evans, Jamel Akeem, 30. We have a lot of our initial players. A lot of the players that came through that season 1 team are actually now starting to step into off-field roles. So we'll try and keep them around as much as we can as well, in whatever capacity they want to be employed. But that is something that we'll look to try and continue progressing over the next coming days, weeks, whatever. For now, though, this is the lineup we're going to go with. We're going to rotate just a little bit because it is a cup fixture. Andy Cade Watts, of course, in goal as the captain as well today. Kane Broadham and Ross Gleed as the fullbacks. Ross Gleed in real life is now playing as a central midfielder for hashtag in Season 2, and an absolute beast of the player if you follow their content. Stamp and Singano is our central defensive partnership, as they so often are. Pollock and Evans will hold midfield. Morley on the right wing, Baker on the left. Shashua will play in at the 10 and Adji up top. We've got Mourinho, Akeem, Hersett, Adams and Richmond on the bench, which means that Ryan George, Tom Humphrey, Harry Honesty and Aaron Couch all get the rest today. We do have a game though in like 2 days in game time, so we do want to try and rotate as much as possible, and hopefully this is a relatively straightforward early cup fixture that we can get through, get some of those squad players a bit of run in their legs, and still make our way through to the next round. Right, looks like they're playing a flat 4-4-2, a couple of an ex-Derby Youth Junior, an ex-Everton player, an ex-Forest Green Rover, and an ex-Northampton Town player. So the further up the divisions we get, the more photos we're seeing, which means they actually are players in the game and aren't just regens. We're going to challenge the team to carry on straight from where they finished the last match. I honestly cannot even remember what the last result was. And we're also going to tell the defensive line. I think there's a lot more to come from you guys. I believe you've got what it takes. And away we go, resuming the series, episode 34. Hopefully we can get 2 great results today. Continue our climb up the table. Continue our relatively successful save so far. And it just feels good to be back, let's be honest. 10 minutes in, the only thing that's happened is that Scott Pollock has picked up a yellow card and looks like he's injured their central defender, whoever Jay Welsh is. We're interested to see if he runs the game out or if they make a sub early. First highlight of the game, Spong to take a free kick. It's a backstick run to Yakafana. That's horrible defending. Looked like the defensive line just looked to push out a little bit and a little bit late getting out there. And he just gets kept onside and he's unmarked effectively at backstick, smacking that one home. So a little bit of adversity for us since we've reloaded the save. Let's see if we can mount a comeback of any sort. Here we go. We've got a highlight here of our own. Ball played forward to Pollock from Brogan. Back out to him now. Plays a ball in behind, but they've recovered. Waldron now with the ball on the left wing at fullback. Charlie Morley does very well to win it back. He's 1v3, but still gets a cross away. Welsh hooks it clear, but only as far as Marcus Stamp on halfway. We're going to reset through Gleed on the left wing. Burst forward now into midfield, strike from distance, and it was on target, but Brown looked pretty comfortable the entire way. So at least we've responded somewhat since conceding. We're 25 minutes in, so we're just going to use demand more as a shout to see if that kind of gives everyone a kick up the backside. Most players have responded either motivated or focused, which is good to see. We've got a highlight here again as we get towards the end of the first half. Singano out wide right to Brougham, to Charlie Morley now. Deep ball in behind. Daniel Adji's in the area, but Brown hooks it away. Well recovered there by Scott Pollock. Shashua now with the ball bursting forward. Played forward to Adji again. Out to Baker on the left, and he strikes from the top of the box. Cuts inside on his right foot, but just over the crossbar. Alright, just like that we get to half-time. We have shaded it in terms of possession and shots, but not in the one that matters the most, which is the scoreboard. So I think maybe we'll take the hairdryer out of my pocket and just say aggressively, I expect to see a much better showing from you in the second half. We'll see, most players have responded positively that they are motivated. We'll start the second half and we'll give it about 15 minutes before we look at subs. Long ball forward now. Ma heads it straight back. Spong, it looks like, has gone through someone off the ball. I think it was maybe Ricky Evans. Red card for Jack Spong. So we might be in here with the fact that they've gone down to 10 men. Let's go and quickly have a look at our tactics and make a couple of quick subs. Alright, so we're going to go for it. We're going to go to our attacking structure. Lee Hersett will come on for Scott Pollock just because of that yellow card. Theo Baker will come off. Charlie Morley will switch to the left wing. Ryan Adams will come on the right. And Tashan Richmond, the big poacher up top, will come on for Daniel Adjie, who's had a pretty tough time. We haven't seen him much in any highlights. We're just going to say, I think there's a lot more to come from you. Completely believe you've got what it takes. And we'll confirm that talk. Everyone seems either happy or motivated, which is great. And then also, once we get back in, we're going to use the shout, get creative. And we're going to tell everyone to start looking to make some opportunities, and hopefully everyone responds positively. We're against 10 men. We've had the better of it against 11 men, so we should be able to create some clear-cut scoring opportunities in the last 35-ish minutes. All right, a little in the way of highlights, but just as I say that, we've got a corner. Shashua to take Zingano with a decent front post header. We're going to also use a shout, and we're going to demand more and see if that one helps in any way. Everyone seems focused, which is great. We've got 20 minutes to try and find an equaliser and then push on for a winner. Though they have got a highlight here. White to take the corner. It's a deep one across. It's going to come all the way out the other side. Lee Hersett can burst forward. He's got space in front of him. There's also men peeling off back stick, which is great to see. If he can get a decent cross in towards Charlie Morley now. Great first time strike from Charlie Morley. 5th goal of the season from him. What a run and what a ball across from Lee Hersett. That is absolutely crazy. Look at the depth on this. Just flies forward, gets his head up once he starts making his way into the final third. And this is good off the ball running actually from Charlie Morley and Tashan Richmond to just peel off the back of the defenders there. We had 3 men towards the back stick. Excellent supporting running. And there we go. We get our equaliser. All right, we're into the last 10 minutes. We've used demand more again just to see if there's any one last push that we can get out of the players. Here we go. Throwing to come from Brougham. We're getting towards extra time now. They've recovered the ball towards halfway. Played across to White. Tries to burst forward, but he's being well jockeyed, well marshalled out to the right-hand side. Their fullbacks are pushing on, which is good. Morley just stay forward in case we recover possession. Just good little 1-2 interchanges there through midfield. Back out to McDonald now. They're very patient in their build-up play, which is impressive to see for a man with 10 men, or for a team with 10 men. Porter played to Mayhew to Potts, and that is a good goal. Michael Potts. 2nd goal of the season for him. Assist from Oliver Mayhew. Is that the winning goal? 10 men have taken the lead against us. They've had very little since the man got sent off. But that was excellent play between White and I think it was a Lachlan or something on the right wing. Porter just bounced past the Mayhew. First time strike, and not a lot of Andy K. Watts can do that. It's curling back. It's away from him and then curling back towards goal. Have we got any response left in us? 4 minutes to be added on. We're into the last minute of it now. About 30 seconds remaining in this highlight. Is there going to be any late drama here, or is this just to take the game through to the final whistle? Warnock now on the left wing. We haven't touched it in a little while here. Potts is just holding the ball, knocking it out to White. It's very good midfield interchanges from Bamber Bridge. They are retaining possession incredibly well. And there it is, the final whistle. So we're out of the FA Trophy for this season, which, like, not the worst thing in the world, but also, like, the extra cash would have been great just for getting through those extra rounds of that competition. But I'm not looking to destroy morale. Let's just say I can't fault you for any of your performances. It was just one of those days. We did rotate quite a bit. We know we don't have that much depth outside of our starting 11, which is quite good. And we can actually now focus back on the Southern Premier Central Division. And we do have an FA Cup tie coming up in a couple of days as well. But again, magic of editing, let's jump forward to the next game against Banbury United. And just like that, we're a couple of days ahead, back in league action against Banbury United. They're currently sitting in 19th spot. I would expect us to get a win and continue our good early season form. They're playing a flat 4-4-2, similar to the last lineup that we had. Jojo Woolacott, ex-Bristol City, and for a brief time, Truro is their captain. Looks like Ford, who's an ex-West Ham junior, is playing up front. We're going to go with Mourinho will come back in goal instead of Andy Cade Watts because he's got high potential. We'll continue trying to build up those high potential players. Tom Humphrey and Ryan George will play as the fullbacks. Stamp and Zingano will continue as our central defensive partnership. Hersett and Pollock in midfield. Shashura at the 10. Honesty on the left wing. Morley on the right. Tasha and Richmond up top. Just calmly, we're the favourites. Let's go out, give the fans something to cheer for. Looks like Marcus Stamps responded negatively. So let's just pick the defence up and say I have faith in them. And that's at least brought him back around as well. Oh, we're playing on a square pitch at Banbury. I don't know how that's going to go for our formation, but it should be fine. Okay, Walcott now with a long ball forward from the goal kick. He can pretty much kick the distance of the pitch, given how fucking narrow it is. George with the ball forward. Jones lets it run towards Deadfield. Are we going to recover here? Putting on a decent high press. Shashua bursts forward. Walcott with a long clearance. Singano wins the header unchallenged. Back to Shashua at the 10. Out to Pollock. Continues out to the right-hand side to Charlie Morley. Shashua now back at the top of the box, working his way forward, gets a strike away, and it's a good save from Walcott. Ball forward now on halfway from Singano. Shashua with a good little turn. Morley with the strike from the edge of the area on his left peg, and it's just past the far post. So good signs in the early 10 minutes. Definitely more, probably as good an attacking opportunity as we had in the previous contest at any point. You can tell I'm getting tongue-tied. It's been a little while since I've done one of these. All right, highlight again here, starting from the right. George to take the throw in. Shashua is going to play it back to him. It's a long one forward towards Long. It goes crossfield switch. We've got a man hanging around there, but the press is a bit slow. Walcott with long ball forward again. It's headed down towards forward. Banbury coming forward for the first time, and forward strike from distance on 28 minutes just over the crossbar. We're going to use a shout as well, I think, and just demand more, just so we continue to kick it up into that extra gear. Probably the difference that I've noticed this season from the last 3 seasons is that our individual quality, we really only need like 1 or 2 players to play well for us to get past teams. Now that we're moving up divisions, more teams have that same individual quality. So like it only really takes one of their players bursting forward on one run and finding a decent finish for them to actually like hurt us on the scoreboard. But the big thing we can also notice is like the conditioning. We're so far ahead of most other teams in conditioning. I don't know if that's because I rotate heavily for cup competitions, or if we just have a higher standard of fitness coaching. Here we go, Scullion with the ball in now from wide areas. Well recovered there by Lee Hurst. Long ball forward towards Tash and Richmond. He's gotten goal side of his man. Can he find the finish? It's a good save from Walcott. And that brings that highlight to an end. Alright, we go into half time at 0-0. We have had the majority of the highlights that we've seen, but we do need to put the ball back in the back of the net. So let's assertively say it's time for everyone to dig in and just give everything you've got left tonight. And I think the other one we might do is take off Ryan George, because he is working his way back from injury. And we'll give Jamel Akeem some time on the right fullback spot, because he hasn't played that much as our backup central defender. And away we go in the second half. Just that one sub, I think it's pretty much a like-for-like swap. Throwing now on the right, Akeem to take. It's going to come back to him now if he can get the cross in. Plays a nice little triangle between Morley, Shashua and him. Morley with the cross now, hits the deck, and Tasha and Richmond, his 15th goal of the season in only 11 league appearances. That's crazy. It's an excellent goal. Let's check it out in 3D. Just a nice little work triangle here from the throw-in. Morley with the deep ball across. Initially, I think it is Harry Honesty who gets tackled by Deadfield, and Tasha and Richmond, the fox in the box as he so often is, manages to scramble that one home once it hits the deck. And we take a lead just before the hour mark. Alright, we're going to make 2 subs as well. We're going to bring off Tom Humphrey, who hasn't had the best of games, only 6.4 rating. We'll bring on Ross Gleed, and then we're also going to give Harry Honesty a rest because he's working his way back from injury as well. Ryan Adams will come on, and Charlie Morley will swap wings. And at the same time as we do that, let's also use the Get Creative shout. It did see a pretty instant result in the last game. If we can get another one here, I think it will tidy up, or we'll close out the 3 points. And that's just about maintaining our focus through to the final whistle, though they do immediately have a highlight. We have recovered the ball, though, through Gleed. Goes back to Stamp. It's a long ball forward towards Tasha and Richmond, but Long cuts it out well. Shashua now. Bursts forward. Just carries the ball so well, I'm under Shashua. Tasha and Richmond backstick. Can he get the strike away? Squares it up for Shashua, and it's a great save from Walcott, who, to be fair, has had an excellent performance. Morley now to take the corner. Whipped across towards Tasha and Richmond. It's going to be headed away. Hurst's got to chase and gets there first. He can play back through his defence, and he does now through Akeem. And that is the end of that highlight. So still positive signs. We're still doing well, but I'm always conscious of that counter-attacking threat that most of these teams have again. Highlight here, Richmond to take. It's hit the wall from the free kick. Shashua now at the top of the box, gets his strike away. Pinballs around for a while before Ryan Adams eventually is the man that gets the strike towards goal. And just before that highlight kicked off, I was going to use our last shout, which is really just demand more for the last 10 minutes. So we are in control in terms of the scoreboard. We have had more shots and more on target. We've had more highlights. Here we go. Shashua now with the ball. It's going to come back to Gleed. Can he get the cross in? Instead, he goes all the way back to Marcus Stamp. Long ball forward. Probably could have worked a switch across to the other side. Hurst, it's going to tidy up, though, at the base of midfield. Pollock now to Adams. Got the overlapping runner in at Keem on the right. Can he get the cross in? It's deflected. Zingano tidies up very well at the back. Pollock now got a little pocket of space to work in. Shashua to Pollock. Just working the ball between the midfielders nicely. Forward to Adams. He strike from distance. Frozen for a second. And, oh, geez, for that split second when it froze, made me think that maybe it was going to whistle into the top corner, but just over. So like I said, we had more of the highlights. We've had the better stat line of the two teams. But when you look at the individual player ratings, their centre-back and their right-back, who's just gone off, have had the two highest match ratings in the team. So either they're defending very well against us and we're putting them under consistent pressure, or they just haven't taken their opportunities, and we haven't seen that. Shout out to Wallacott as well, who I think has had a tremendous performance, and just like goalkeepers in this version of the game, and this isn't like, I don't really complain about the game too much, but goalkeepers just can't get decent match ratings in the FM19 engine. It's crazy. And just like that, we're into extra time now. 3 minutes to be added on. We're already through 2.5 minutes of it. Surely the next highlight is just the wrap-up of this game. Throwing now from the left to Smith, played to Reed, and the referee calls full time. So it's a good win. It's good to get a victory back in these colours again and to continue our impressive early season form. Again, the margins though, like that would have been a game 12 months ago that we would have won 2-0, 3-0, because we would have taken a few more of those opportunities and finished a bit better. But that little step up, that gap between us and the other teams in our divisions narrows. For us, best player was for Zingano. He did have a pretty excellent game. Tashan Richmond, the goal scorer, just behind him on a 7 rating. Right, and as we see here, hashtag United in control as Puritans are brushed aside. What a crazy name that is. Low-key affair. Avon Jones, their centre-back, gets the man of the match award with a 7.2 rating. Does see us take a 4-point lead at the top of the league. Rushton and Diamonds currently in second, Cambridge in third, Halzone with the game in hand in fourth spot, and we maintain our winning streak, 6 matches won in a row. So like I said at the start of this episode, I really kind of want to jump ahead now and try and make up some time on that we've lost by not having an episode for 6 months. And I know that's on me, and it's not the way that I wanted this series to go. But ideally, and I think what you guys want to see as well, is us actually getting up into the Football League structure. And the best way to do that is to kind of fast forward a little bit. So expect episode 35 to be a significant jump ahead in time. I'll figure out exactly how long that's going to be, depending on how the season goes and where we're sitting in the division. But more than anything, like I said at the start, just apologies for the distance between the two videos. I really appreciate everyone's continued support. Thank you for your patience. I do really appreciate that as well. If you want to continue to support the channel, feel free to chuck a like on this video. Subscribe if you want to be kept up to date on future videos as they continue to come out in the build up to FM20. And more than anything, don't forget to hashtag it.